This podcast contains strong language, sexual references, and terrible advice. When life gets you down, your car just won't start. Agony art. It's time for agony art. If you've reached a dead end, you're not sure what to do. Agony art. Well, agony art is for you. At times life is grand, you've got the world in your hands. Then somehow you drop that ball. Instead of watching it fall, give Agony Art a call.
Welcome to Agony Art, the Agony Art podcast in which we try to solve your problems not with our own wisdom, but instead by telling you how those problems were solved with the great art of our age. Or failing that, just by recommending books, film, music for you to enjoy. My name is Karl, our resident movie magnifico.
I thought you were going to say Magnolia.
Okay, movie Magnolia. I blossom.
You're so pretty.
I blossom briefly, and then all my leaves drop and create a mess.
Flower knowledge. That's what our listeners came for.
And I'm joined by Liam, our Music Magpie website. Sell your books and stuff at Liam. And Aaron, our book borrower.
Can I borrow the book?
No, I mean like small person.
All right.
Is that why you never read any books? Because they're just too big?
And you know I hate big books.
Yeah, when he says epic, I don't mean length, it's the size. Here with me in our swanky studio in my back garden.
Oh!
How we doing?
All right, yeah. Have you been listening to the series so far?
I have, yeah.
I've been falling behind a bit.
Oh.
Because I usually listen with my wife, and the other day she went out.
She left me. She went out and she hasn't come back.
No, she listened to the latest episode, and I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know what happened. Can't remember.
Now, before we begin, I want to make it very clear that we're not really here to solve real problems. All of our submissions are certified 100% trivial or fictional pickles, and our advice should almost never be followed. We're really here to have fun. If you're having a real hard time, please check our website for guidance on who to turn to. That's agonyartpodcast.com. So now we've got that out of the way, let's get on with it. Okay, here's our first problem of the day. I'm a fully grown adult, but never learned to drive. I find it embarrassing to have to lie about it, especially to the opposite sex. I told the girl I'm seeing on our first date that I can drive, but just don't have a car, because I don't need one living and working in London. It's getting serious now, and she's booked a trip to Wales for a weekend away, and booked a rental car, and she wants me to drive. How do I wriggle out of this one, boys?
Have either of you two, you don't have to say the lie, have either of you two told a lie to your wife that she has never found out, even if it's years old?
No, she always finds out. Alright, let's name this pickle in a pickle. Who can't drive?
David Coulthard.
He doesn't drive much anymore. Actually, I don't know. He probably does all the time.
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, famously, doesn't drive.
He's always in limos, isn't he? So maybe he can't drive.
There you go, Bruno.
Bruno. Todioli.
We don't really talk about Bruno, but we will today.
No.
No.
Right, Liam, kick us off.
Bruno, are you sure? Are you 100% sure your girlfriend... Was it girlfriend? No, girl you're seeing. Not necessarily girlfriend. It's all different these days, isn't it?
Let's not get into
I
that.
was so worried about labels.
Are you 100% sure she's really talking about driving a car?
You're driving me nuts.
I'll tell you for why I asked that question. In 2007, Rihanna released a song
Shut up and drive.
called Shut Up and Drive. And despite appearances, it wasn't about driving a car at all. Fun fact about this song, do you know who is credited as songwriters on it?
Neo.
Ollie Murs.
No.
Ed Sheeran.
No.
Taylor Swift.
No. Keep going.
Calvin Harris.
No.
Bob Marley.
No.
Phil Collins.
No, you're getting closer.
Oh.
Eamon Holmes.
No.
Oh, who's the Sledgehammer guy?
Peter Gabriel.
What?
Peter
Yep.
Gabriel.
No.
Yep, no.
It's the entirety of New Order. Because
Really?
it samples Blue Monday. And I was a bit blown away when I heard that.
Technicality. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It's like the Right Said Fred thing in the Taylor Swift song.
Did you associate Shut Up and Drive with Blue Monday though? Because I didn't notice that at all until I read that. It's weird, isn't it?
But it's a bit of innuendo, isn't it? Like,
It's a flip of a lot of innuendo, Carl.
got my ride that's bigger than a limousine or something like that.
Rihanna's looking for a driver who is qualified to step into her ride.
Hello.
So a peek behind the Agony art curtain for a second. when I was looking into songs for this, or in general when I look into songs, sometimes I find interesting tidbits from lyrics meaning site like genius.com. In this case, I was looking at Genius, and there wasn't anything interesting per se, but it did give me a bit of a laugh. So I wanted to briefly give you a bit of a tour of what the user base at Genius are saying about Shut Up and Drive. Basically, they're onto Rihanna's filth and they're not very impressed.
Really?
So
What, they give opinions?
they don't know, but they make these little kind of like passive-aggressive remarks. Do you see what I mean?
Do they think that it's like veiled innuendo because she says like something? You know what I mean? As if like
Yeah.
I'll get you where you want to go, if you know what I mean.
yeah, it's like. By the way, this is innuendo.
So the comment on that line is, she means intercourse. That's in verse 2. In verse 1, she says, I'm a fine-tuned supersonic speed machine. And they say, this line could be an ode to the 1994 Oasis song Supersonic, but I doubt it. It's probably also an innuendo for sex and how Rihanna is speedy at sex. In the chorus, she says, can you handle the curves? Can you run all the lights? This lyric is referring to him being so fast he can run the lights without any accidents or being pulled over. He's so fast the cops couldn't catch up. That's how fast he's going to thrust into her.
Jesus Christ. But I think they've read too much into that line. She
Yeah.
says nothing about cops. There's no implication about cops. No. She's just saying, can you go fast, basically.
This is a bit of classic Genius. Like, do you remember when we talked about Starman by David Bowie and there was just all of that, what are you smoking?
It's like that. Yeah, it's like they've just discovered that the song. Like, don't get them started on Two Become One.
Yeah. They've just discovered that songs have hidden meanings and they're really running with it.
Last bit, my personal favourite, in the chorus when she says, baby, you got the keys. The key is the subject's penis. So,
Shut up and drive.
But it's keys plural.
maybe he's got two.
She's singing to a
That's all I'm telling you.
mini-penised alien.
So yeah, if Rihanna's pop classic is anything to go by, though, you might want to stop worrying about driving and prepare yourself for something else altogether.
So they've had this epic lovemaking session, Bruno and his girlfriend. And then at the end of it, she goes, yeah, but still, how are we going to get to Wales?
And if she does say that, you could take some literal advice from Rihanna and stop being a baby and just shut up and drive.
Without a license. Are you condoning that, Liam?
Yes. That's my advice for today.
Wow. I liked it, but I think I'm probably going to be a bit more useful to you, Bruno. For a start, I want to say I'm a full-grown adult, but never learned to drive. I find it embarrassing to have to lie about it. Are you fucking serious? Like, when you're a full-grown adult, you could just say to people, yeah, I don't drive.
Yeah, but it's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing. Oh! Who will give a shit if you don't drive? So I'm just saying, Bruno, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who cares if you can drive or not? Most adults, if you tell them, will just go, oh, that's interesting. So how do you get around? And you can say, I get a fucking train. So to that end, I want to teach you what happens to liars, Bruno, with the help of The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, published in 1886. This is a book that contains many liars and many lies. And the reason it contains so many lies is probably because it was originally released in weekly instalments. And Hardy wanted to keep it exciting. Every week had to have a new twist. But still, even though he's, keeping it twisty, it's still regarded as one of his masterpieces. So, Michael Henchard, in The Mayor of Casterbridge, is a 21-year-old hay trusser. Do you know what a hay trusser is?
Someone who trusses hay, isn't it?
There you go. Who
Done.
has an argument with his wife at a country fair. And because he's drunk, after this argument with his wife, he decides to auction her off, along with his baby daughter. He gets 5 guineas for her, as you do. This is only up to 2017, but adjusted for inflation, in 2017, that was £69.
It's a bargain.
So it's probably about $3,000 today then.
adjusted for today's inflation, yeah.
Whoa, economy jokes.
Nice.
We're going highbrow this
In this
series.
economy?
So that is a bargain for a woman and a child.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So he wakes up with a hangover and the fear, as you would. What the fuck did I do?
Maybe my wife can piece it together for me. Oh, where is she?
He wants to buy them back, but he's missed them. They're gone. He vows never to touch alcohol again for 21 years.
Wait, he says a time limit.
Is that the
on it.
vow?
I don't know why he chooses 21 years.
He'll be mature enough to not auction off his wife.
He negotiates with himself forever.
Maybe because he's 21 years old, he thinks, for the whole of my life again, I will never drink. And then once that's over, I'll drink loads.
On his 42nd birthday, he sells his wife again by accident.
Shit, I got drunk again. Anyway, his wife believes the auction was legally binding, so she lives with her buyer for 18 more years until he's lost at sea, at which point she decides that her life hasn't been shit enough and she decides to return to Michael Henchard. I'll seek out the bloke who sold me. Why not? I haven't suffered enough abuse in this life. Now, first lie. Henchard was embarrassed about how he lost his wife, as you would be. So he's been avoiding the subject, letting people think he was a widower. And he's become...
A widiot.
a widiot. He's a widiot. He's a widiot and a widower. And he's become mayor of the town in the meantime. He's become quite successful.
Fucking Les Miserables.
Yeah, and he's Hugh Jackman by this point.
He's Wolverine.
He's like, oh, good day, mate. I'm Wolverine. Want to see my claws?
I think Les Mis would have been so much better if Hugh Jackman was Wolverine instead of Jean Valjean.
And this leads to the second lie. When she returns, he proposes that they remarry after a sham courtship so that his daughter never learns of his disgrace, what he did to give them up.
So when you sell them, does that dissolve your marriage?
Yeah, it's confusing, isn't it? I don't know the legalities of this.
Asking for a friend?
That's a quick and easy way out. Why did Henry VIII do this?
It's true, yeah. I'm going to sell you now. So he proposes that they, pretend to date each other and then remarry. That's the second lie of the book. All he has to do is dump his current girlfriend to achieve this, because in the meantime, he's got another girlfriend. And that's easy. Like, this other girlfriend only, nursed him through a bad illness or some shit. Like, fuck her off.
Well, she could have got sold, couldn't she? Could be worse.
He sounds like a bell end, doesn't he? Third lie. It turns out that Elizabeth Jane, the daughter that his sold wife has returned with, is not actually his daughter after all. The one that they had together died in infancy. And this new one is the daughter of the bloke he sold her to. And she just named her Elizabeth Jane as like a replacement. So Susan has lied about the child she's brought back. How's she rewarded for this lie? Shortly after they remarry, she dies. If you lie, you will die, Bruno.
But the main guy don't die.
Listen, after that, Henchard fucks people out of jobs, tries to steal his ex-girlfriend back, the one that he dumped to remarry his old wife that he sold, tries to steal her back off of some bloke who was trying to bang his not daughter. It's a bit Shakespearean, all this intertwining love affairs, isn't it? And Henchard tells the fourth lie when Elizabeth Jane's real dad returns from being lost at sea to reclaim her. He tells him that she's dead so that he'll fuck off. And after all this fuckwittery, after 4 lies, Henchard has no choice but to turn back to the drink.
Oh.
This is after his vow has expired, though.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So he's all right.
That's fine.
And he drinks himself to death, leaving only a note saying that he wants to be forgotten. So, Bruno, my lesson in 2 cases, Susan and Michael Henchard, is if you lie, you will die.
For someone who wants to be forgotten, he did a lot of memorable, shitty stuff.
Did he? This vow of not drinking alcohol, did he tell anyone about that? Because it sounds a lot to me like it got to 21 years and he was just like, I've done long enough. I'll just pretend it was only for that long and then I'll start drinking again.
Yeah, guys, I said it would be 21 years. None of you were listening. I said I was never going to drink again for 21 years. And you didn't hear the second bit.
Interesting. So if you lie, you'll die. Shut up and drive out a license, in which case you'll probably die. Good stuff, guys. Excellent.
Yeah, it's not even without a license, it's without the ability to drive. I didn't think about that.
So I think this is a issue about growing up. Like you said, Aaron, why lie about it? You need to grow up. So I'm going to talk about Big Daddy from 1999.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Grown Up.
Directed by Dennis Dugan. Might be Duggan. I'm going to say Dugan.
So exotic.
Dugan.
Denis Dugan.
But first, one of the best things I've discovered is higher or lower Rotten Tomato scores for Adam Sandler films. Because what a plethora of things he's done.
And probably wildly varying as well.
Let's find out. So I'll start you off with our Control film, Uncut Gems. Not seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
I really want to, and my wife really doesn't want to. I've heard that for the whole time you feel horribly anxious. Like the whole
That
film
doesn't
makes
sound like
you
something
feel
you
anxious.
want to do.
It's okay if it's not my life.
Okay, so 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Critic score as well. So a big outing for Adam Sandler. It's kind of like he's a serious actor kind of film.
Oh my god, this guy can act. 40 years after he started acting.
Is it not a comedy then?
I don't know. So Liam, Uncut Gems 91%. Grown Ups, higher or lower?
Grown Up.
It's the one where they're on a flume in the picture.
Yeah, that's how I know it as well, yeah.
I thought I'd seen this, but I was thinking of Role Models, which is not an Adam Sandler film. I think it's probably going to be lower than 91%.
You're correct, 11%.
Whew.
Aaron,
That's harsh.
Hotel Transylvania 3. He plays
Higher.
Drac. Higher, 62%. It's the best of the Hotel Transylvanias, according to Rotten
it?
Tomatoes. Liam, Grown Ups 2.
Well, if Grown Ups 1 was 11, it's got to be lower.
8%.
Oh!
8.
Film close to my heart, PBMC 2. Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2. Higher or lower than 8%?
Higher, but marginally, I reckon.
6%.
Oh my god.
Liam, Jack and Jill. This is where he plays twins, woman and male.
Yeah. And just to give you a clue, Liam, I think it was panned, wasn't it?
I think it's going to be low, but is it going to be lower than 6%? I don't think so.
Higher?
Higher.
3%.
Oh my god.
All right, let's get back into less murky territory.
So what is the percentage, by the way? Is it...
Critics, positive reviews from critics.
So out of all the critics, all the positive reviews?
3% think it was good.
Wow.
Click, Aaron.
Higher than 3.
34%. Mr. Deeds, which I remember being quite a good one.
Higher.
Lower, 22%.
Oh.
Aaron, Little Nicky, another classic.
I loved that film as a teenager. I'm sure I wouldn't now if I watched it. I would put it higher.
21%. Oh, marginal. Jeez. Liam, Juice Bigelow, Mal Gigolo.
I've not seen this either.
This strikes me as a film that you would love, Aaron. I don't know if you've seen it, though.
I haven't seen it.
Higher.
22%. Very
Oh,
good.
This is a good one, better than the Batman one, because they're much closer, aren't they?
The Waterboy, Aaron.
Oh, I love that film
Absolute
as well.
classic.
Yeah.
We're on 22.
Higher.
33%. Which seems good for an Adam Sandler film now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Big Daddy, subject of the day.
Not seen
Liam.
it.
Oh,
You've
my
never
God.
seen Big Daddy?
No.
You got
I
problems.
wipe my own ass. That's not a quote.
Hey, look, he's pissing on his own.
Lower.
39%. Higher.
I think that's probably going to be the highest rated, surely.
Well, let's
out
find
of
out.
all
What about
these
Happy
comedy
Gilmore?
films.
Happy Gilmore, Aaron.
I'm going to say higher then, seeing as you made a face when I said that's got to be the highest.
Big Daddy, 39. Happy Gilmore, 61. And then lastly, Liam, my favourite, Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer.
That's a good
I
film
don't think
as
I've ever
well.
seen this properly.
Oh my God.
Just because I love Happy Gilmore, I'm going to say lower.
Higher, 69%.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
So he's got what, 1, 2, he's got other stuff, but 1, 2, 3, 4 of the ones we talked about there, of a lot of films, are certified fresh. So anyway, what happens in Big Daddy? Adam Sandler plays Sonny, who's a layabout, and he's got a really nice apartment in New York. He's got a law degree, but it doesn't work because his foot got run over and he sued the person, so he lives off the money from the lawsuit. So he does fuck all. He just watches sport. He goes to the park and trips people up when they're skating with logs and stuff like that. He's actually a real prick.
Yeah.
But that's his life, basically, every day. And then this young boy comes into his life. He just gets dropped on his doorstep called Julian because his flatmate is Julian's dad, but his dad doesn't know about him, but the mum just leaves him there for some reason.
Yeah, and the dad's on a business trip, so Adam Sandler decides to...
Yeah, be his dad, basically.
As you do.
And he decides to bed the child into his kind of lazy lifestyle and lets the child do whatever it wants. And it works for a while because the child seems happy. He wears what he wants. He calls himself...
Frankenstein.
That's it, yeah. He eats ketchup only.
He does that trick where you let the spit out and
Yeah.
he nearly touches the floor and then sucks it back
Yeah,
in.
and he goes, did you see that? That one nearly touched the floor. He started tripping people up.
Yeah.
Sonny uses him to pick up girls at the park. Goes, help, I'm lost. I don't know where I am.
And he teaches him, takes him to the supermarket, throws cans at the floor,
Yeah,
and then gets a discount
get
on
a
them because they're
discount,
damaged.
Yeah. So it seems like things are going well, but it starts to unravel when he starts to stink and be unhealthy. And he wants to go to school, so he says, "Oh look, he wants to go to school." He thinks his methods are really good because decides to go to school on his own. But when he goes to school, he's wearing stupid things, calling himself Frankenstein, and he's pissing in a plant pot and stuff like that. So he has to clean up his act a bit. But actually, when it gets difficult and he needs to actually parent the kid, he decides to take him to the adoption agency and give him up. And then he says, "All right, we'll find a group home." He's like, "Oh no, I'll look after him until we find a family or whatever." And then he starts to kind of really get on with the child, and he finds a girl, and things start to settle down a little bit for him. But then just when things are going well and he thinks this is okay, actually, he gets arrested because the child's not his and he's stolen it, basically.
Bit like a Jack Black thing in School of Rock.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So there's lots of laughs, lots of cries. Adam Sandler at this period had a lot of sentimentality mixed with his stupid... It was a bit of a weird mix because they're both like complete opposites.
Yeah. They would have his characters would have complete turnarounds.
Yeah. So at the end he's in court and he has loads of character witnesses about how he's a great guy, and then his father calls him like a prick, basically. He goes, "It's okay, Dad, you don't have to be afraid anymor," and stuff like that.
I think his dad's quite a famous actor in it, isn't he?
He looks like Harvey Keitel, but I don't think he is. And then he's about to basically get sent to prison for stealing a child, and then the dad actually arrives and says, "I want to drop the charges." I don't know if you can drop charges for someone actually committing a crime though.
Drop the charges that I didn't raise. Yeah. The court goes, "Well, you can't."
Exactly, yeah. Sentence him to life. And then it all ends up well. Julian's real dad takes him on, and then Sonny's like an uncle to him, and it's all happy. But the point of it is...
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Sequel.
So the kind of message in Big Daddy is that sometimes it's time to grow up. So you said you were grown up. Like you say, stop lying about driving. Either learn to drive or say, "I can't drive." Find alternatives. Do you know what will happen? You're probably not gonna not go to Wales if you say, "I can't drive." Maybe the girl you're seeing will drive. Well, how about that?
Maybe she'll find a man who doesn't lie, and he'll take her to Wales, and you'll be at home alone, dead. Because if you lie, you will die.
And if you drive without a license and the ability, you will die.
Shut up and drive. Whoa there, Rudolph. What have we here? It's Christmas time at Agony, they are full of festive cheer. There's tinsel trees, some fresh mince pies, and a keg of German beer. The hosts can't wait till Christmas Day, but for them there'll be a twist. For I have heard their crude podcast, and they're on the naughty list.
On to problem 2. I dumped a girl a couple of months ago and she hasn't left me alone since. She constantly calls and texts me begging to have me back. And I'm almost certain I saw her staring at me from behind a freezer door at Iceland the other day. She's even invading my dreams now. And not in a good way. How do I shake this stage 5 clinger?
How many times have your dream's been invaded by another person?
Oh, so much.
How do they invade? Army or just like kind of wedge themselves in?
I think it's usually like espionage, isn't it, to start with?
Yeah.
They reveal themselves.
They suddenly appear.
Like in Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
Mask.
they pull off someone else's face. No, I have a lot of dreams about people from my past that I've hurt. Yeah, all those anxieties that we've talked about on previous episodes.
I think all of these problems are actually you. Every week.
No, I've never dumped a girl. They always dump me.
I've always been dumped. I don't think I'm been very happily married, but I don't think I could dump anyone. I think I'll just live miserably for the rest of my life.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yes. You don't want to hurt their feelings, but you also don't want to be with them. so you just sit there in silence instead.
Are you describing your marriage right now?
In
You don't want to call the divorce lawyer, but
in The Sopranos, I remember an episode where his sister Janice just like finds a tiny reason to fly off the handle with someone, and like he don't take his shoes off when he comes in the house, and she like throws him down the stairs, and it's like too far gone to like stay together now. Job done, kind of thing. So
then you'd know.
yeah, but yeah, having an emotional conversation. Fuck.
So what was that person's name you just said?
Janice.
Janice.
Yeah.
Should we call this person Janice?
Janice
to
Soprano.
anonymise them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Janice Soprano. Do we have to full name them every time?
Is that with a C or an S?
Let's see.
I've never seen Janice with an S.
Ah.
I think Liam's auntie's.
I think it's always with a J.
Yeah.
Stannis?
Stannis.
Janice Baratheon.
I like it. That's what it is.
All right, I'm going to help Janice Baratheon. Let's hope
First of her name.
I read a book this year that I loved so much that I had no choice but to rave about it constantly. You two will have heard me rave about it. And while I was doing that, I promised that I would find a way to bend it to my will and use it as a problem solver in Agony art. It's totally irrelevant. It's probably not going to help you, Janice, but here goes. Get ready for a wild, dangerous, mostly irrelevant ride. Entangled Life by Merlin Sheldrake is a non-fiction book about the amazing life of Fungus.
I have heard you rave about it.
And how it intertwines with nearly every living thing on Earth. And we rely on it for so much. Literally, our planet and the life that lives on it would not be able to survive like they do now if fungi didn't exist.
So it's okay that fungus grows all over me.
Yeah. Fungus is inside you right now.
Fuck.
Not in a sexual way. Well, maybe.
Also, Fungus is famously good at dumping people, so it is relevant.
Well, we'll wait for that. Yeah. For example, did you know that plants can't absorb nutrients properly through their roots? There's basically a network of fungi that stretches through the soil beneath the floor of every forest and flower bed, wraps itself around and inside the roots of plants and trees, and runs like a nutrient exchange with plants. It is absolutely amazing.
Nature's internet.
Yeah, it takes nutrients from the soil, gives plants the nutrients that they can't absorb properly from the soil, and absorbs nutrients in exchange that it can't get from the sun. Now, if a plant needs more phosphorus, for example, it will up its price of what it needs. There is literally let me take a forest example because I'm explaining it badly. There are networks of fungi that stretch throughout a forest floor, and they will be exchanging nutrients between trees. It's one fungal network. And if a certain part of the forest needs something more than another part, they've found that the fungus will push the nutrients that area of the forest needs to that area of the forest because it can get a higher price for it. Like the trees over there are giving more nutrients to the fungus because they need...
Aaron?
I swear it's like a trading floor. They're like, buy, sell.
Profiteering, that's what it is.
And they don't know if it's because they know they're getting a higher price, there's some kind of intelligence there, or they just notice, there's less phosphorus in this part of the thing, so I'll even it out for myself. Maybe the fungus isn't But it's amazing. It is incredible.
Am I right? I've heard, and is this right, that a tree will send nutrients to its kind of offspring before other trees and stuff like that via the fungal network?
I don't know. Maybe.
When the tree falls in the forest and only the fungus is there to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yeah. The fungus goes, "You're right, mate." Do you want some nutrients?
Hello.
Give you some plasters.
Like moans about the noise.
Fucking hell, that was loud. I'm trying to fungus here. Hey, I'm fungus in here. Anyway, and this kind of relationship is the very reason that the term symbiosis was invented. This is symbiotic relationship goals. More amazing fungi, Ophiocordyceps. They infect carpenter ants, take over their bodies, and control them like puppets. The ants walk around being controlled by the fungus.
This is where The Last of Us got the idea, isn't it?
Let me get to that.
All right, sorry.
They make these ants climb the nearest plant up to a height of exactly, or around. It's either 25 or 45 centimetres. I wrote this from memory. Make them bite into the best place on the plant to bite. It's like a main vein in the leaf. At exactly noon, yeah, and then they blast a mushroom through the skull of the ant, and then the mushroom that they push out rains spores down on all the ants' mates, who then obviously get infected. What the fuck? Absolutely fucking mental. And if you look it up, look at a picture of these ants, it is so scary. And you're right, Liam. A strain of this is what inspired The Last of Us. A strain of this is the cause of all the zombies in The Last of Us, which is an amazing video game and
Upcoming
a TV show
series.
coming to HBO on January the 15th. So that's only a few weeks away. They've been doing this for 48 million years as well. We found... Not we. You
How
and
involved
I,
are you in this?
You and I have done nothing. So that's an amazing fungus. Psilocybin producing mushrooms, which are magic mushrooms, and what we make LSD out of.
When are we doing that?
Well, listen to this, Liam. Have been found over and over again to be miracle cures for all kind of mindfuckery. So much so that I genuinely do want to do some magic mushrooms. So if you're up for it, well, I will do it. To see if it works some kind of magic on the anxieties that we keep mentioning. Listen to this.
It might push the bad nutrients that are bad anxiety out of your brain and install
Yeah, out
good
of my
ones.
butthole. And into a tree.
You see like ghouls come out your ass.
Listen to this direct quote from the book. In 2016, 2 sister studies at New York University and Johns Hopkins University administered psilocybin alongside a course of psychotherapy to patients suffering from anxiety, depression, and existential distress following diagnoses with terminal cancer. After a single dose of psilocybin, 80% of patients showed substantial reductions in their psychological symptoms. Reductions that persisted for at least 6 months after the dose. Psilocybin reduced demoralization and hopelessness, improved spiritual well-being, and increased quality of life. Participants described exalted feelings of joy, bliss, and love, and a movement from feelings of separateness to interconnectedness. More than 70% of participants rated their experience as one of the top 5 most meaningful experiences in their lives. How amazing is that?
That's incredible.
I'm not stopping there, Karl.
Oh.
I put on a timer and I'm going to exhaust it myself. More amazing stuff. They're making bricks out of fungus, furniture, shipping materials, computers, you name it.
They're going to take over the world.
Yeah.
They already have.
The people in charge are basically fungus, Karl. They're lower than fungus. He also talks about the fungus we're most familiar with, mushrooms, truffles, truffle hunters, other mushroom hunters. Quote, "The yellow staining mushroom is described in most field guides as poisonous. A keen mushroom hunter with a large mycological library once told me about an old guidebook he owned, in which the same mushroom was described as delicious when fried, although the author did add as an afterthought that the mushroom may cause a light coma in those of weak constitution."
But it's delicious.
Yeah. And if you think that, I don't want to read about fungus, what do you think I am? Some kind of fungi? There are amazing non-fungi related facts in it.
Well, just on the fungus, I think this is a really, really a good example of poor marketing. Because you think fungus, you think, ugh.
Yeah. They need a good marketing team. This book is that marketing team.
Yeah.
They finally, after 48 million years...
They got the right PR guys in.
Look, I don't want to rain on the fungal parade. This is really interesting. But what the hell has this got to do with the problem?
Oh, you just wait, Liam. You wait another 20 minutes till I get there.
And you should have said, I don't want a spore on the fungal.
Yeah, if you haven't got mushroom in your brain for this fungi... There are amazing non-fungi related facts. Termites, quote, termites are reported to consume between 1.5 and $20 billion a year of property in the United States. In 2011, termites found their way into a bank in India and ate 10 million rupees in banknotes.
Oh, no.
Oh, last night.
So this,
how many rupees did we eat?
which is about 250 grand in US dollars, I think. Now, a disclaimer, it's apart from the bits that I directly quoted, it's possible that a lot of what I just said is bullshit because it's all incredibly clever and interesting, and I wrote a lot of it from memory, and some of it might have been too big for my tiny brain. This is just how I remember what I read. So it depends on whether I interpreted it properly. But if I got it wrong, then that's good, because it means you'll have to read it to get the correct information. Read this book. Anyway, suppose what I'm saying, Liam, is... Janice.
I forgot the problem, actually.
Janice, is your ex really obsessed with you? Or are you obsessed with her? You're seeing her everywhere, after all. Was she really at Iceland? Or were you just thinking about her so much that you hallucinated? Like someone on magic mushrooms?
Gotcha.
Oh. Or are you, like a forest and its fungus, obsessed with each other? Are you made for each other? Like mycelium and plant roots? Is it a symbiotic relationship, the likes of which could make for the single most interesting book I've read all year? If so, then you really have no choice. Just like those amazing trees and their fungus friends, like bread and its yeast is a fungus, like our guts and their vital microbes, like all of the beautiful nature that relies so much on incredible fungus, you are made for each other, and the only way you can survive is by being together. Or, if not, you could hide in the dark like a truffle until she leaves you alone.
Or a pig comes and finds you.
And then Nicolas Cage turns up. Aaron Dunn.
I don't know how to follow that. Well, when I heard this problem, I didn't think about fungus at all.
What? You didn't read the problem right, did you?
It reminded me of a song that I think we've mentioned in passing before, but have never discussed in detail.
Shut up and drive.
Shut up and fungus.
And that is the Police's friends of the show, the Police's 1983 single, Every Breath You Take, the classic stalker anthem. On the slim chance that you haven't heard this song, the reason why everyone thinks it's a stalker's anthem is because of the words, and here is a brief snippet. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
From behind a freezer door at Iceland.
Oh, supermarkets are available. I think this is a particularly interesting song, though, because usually when you hear songs like this, the original intention was like quite innocent, and it's like only in hindsight people are like, that's a weird song. But no, apparently Sting was quite shocked at how many people thought it was a nice love song at the time, because he intentionally wrote it to be dark and brooding and to sound like a stalker. And you can see in the video is the Police performing it in like I think it's supposed to be like a jazz bar. It's shot in black and white. He's on a double bass playing it. And while he's playing his double bass, he's like, I'll be watching you. And he looks really angry. And everyone's like, oh, he looks so angry. Why does he look so angry? This is such a nice song. And he was like, it's not a nice song.
It's a bit rich for someone to be watching you all the time, but then also saying, don't stand so close to me. Maybe you can watch him easier if he says, come stand closer to me.
And then when someone does leave him alone, he's like, I'm lonely.
Mixed messages still.
Can't fucking make his mind up, can he?
The song doesn't really help because it continues in that same vein throughout, and lyrically it's about like grief and anger after a romantic separation. So it's not that helpful. But I'm not just going to stop there, because this is agony art after all. And I thought to myself, why not look
At Fungus.
at the fungus behind it? No, at the agony behind the art.
Oh.
So Sting wrote this in 1982 after separating from his wife, the actress Frances Tumulty. Do you know her?
No.
No, me neither. And the split was quite the cause for controversy at the time, because they had 2 kids, and Sting had an affair with their next door neighbour and Tumulty's reported best friend, Trudy Styler. And the papers, as you might imagine, had a field day. They were like, "Oh, this is terrible, rah, rah, rah." Which, to be honest, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so he wrote Every Breath You Take, the song about the angry ex-lover, during this time. And as far as I know, he's never come out and said it was about his ex-wife. But you got to wonder where he got that inspiration from, don't you?
What does Genius say? This is about his ex-wife.
I think
She can go through all the lights and run from the cops.
he means intercourse.
This is his penis.
So what would Sting do if he was in your position and had to get away from his ex? What did he do in real life? Pretty simple. He went to the Caribbean. Specifically, he went to Ian Fleming's Goldeneye estate in Jamaica. And he wrote this song there. So that's my advice to you, based on real life agony art.
Run away.
Go on holiday.
To the
and hope
Caribbean.
by the time you get back, it's all blown over.
That's sound advice.
By the way, another reason to dislike Sting, you know, you know this.
As if you needed any more.
Yeah.
You know this song was sampled in 1997.
Puff Daddy, Are We
Puff
Missing
Daddy
You?
featuring.
Faith Evans and T something.
Do you know why Faith Evans is significant?
She sings the main bit, no?
She is Biggie Smalls' widow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So yeah, beautiful tribute to Notorious B.I.G., who had died that year. Sung by his widow. What did Sting do when he heard?
Sued him.
Of course he did. What a bastard.
Puff Daddy has fallen for not getting permission to do so.
I was going to say, like, yeah, it's a bit insensitive, but I would protect my copyright as well.
There's, not to bring, it's funny.
Fun fact about the guitar part from Every Breath You Take. It was inspired by a Bela Bartok violin duet, apparently.
Is that a fun fact?
No.
Boring fact from Butcher by Liam.
Shit fact.
Aaron, you've done your bit. It's Fungus. So it's me. There's a lot of stalkery type of film stuff out there. And I can't remember what episode it was, but look back at the single white female one where...
That was one of the early ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, she become
Retro
the
agony
woman,
art.
yeah. And I did think of using Cape Fear, which is a quite a famous film. Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro. But I could not stop thinking of Sideshow Bob. Treading on rakes. Which is the Simpsons spoof of it.
Yeah, there's a sound that he makes every...
So I'm going to talk about 1 Hour Photo from 2002.
Love that film.
Directed by Mark Romanek. Yeah, this is a great film. I've seen it probably once around when it came out and thinking it's a great film. It's Robin Williams in a real departure from being Robin Williams. Robin Williams is one of the people that when he died, I really felt it. Like, I don't often feel... I think, it's sad celebrity dies, but this one may be quite sad. A bit like Alan Rickman as well.
Yeah, really sad.
Yeah, got proper troubled soul. But he's been in some serious stuff, like Good Morning Vietnam, serious film. But he's like Robin Williams in a serious film kind of thing. Patch Adams.
He's in 1 Hour Photo, is that what it's called?
That's what I'm talking about.
Liam hasn't been listening to a
That's all.
word.
You should be about Sideshow Bob.
I was. I thought you were going to talk about The Simpsons. 1 Hour Photo is a really good film.
He's in
Whoa,
this-
Liam's seen something.
Yeah.
Carl, he's in this film called 1 Hour Photo. You should probably use it for this
Can you
example.
tell me about it? Describe the plot to me. Let's see if it
It's about
helps.
this
Janice.
photo. But it's only 1 hour.
It disappears.
I hope you recommend this at the end of the episode, because this is a brilliant film. Really.
All right, will. Fucking hell.
We'll see, Liam. No spoilers.
So, very briefly, Robin Williams plays Cy. I can't remember his full name.
Cy the photo guy.
Cy the photo
That's what they
guy.
call him, isn't it?
Yeah. And he develops the Yorkins family photos for 9 years while he's at this supermarket. And little do they know, he's become obsessed with them, and he makes copies of their photos for his own house, and he visualises being part of a perfect family as he sees it. And he tries to get close to them, Am I on the right track? Yeah. Good.
That's just your uncomfortable noise.
And yeah, he makes like advances to try and like be more close than the photo guy to them.
He does them like favours and stuff, doesn't he? And gives them stuff for free.
He gives the boy a camera and stuff like that. Yeah.
So when does he step on the rakes?
For some reason, because plot, the supermarket do an audit and they find out that over the last 9 years he's developed way more photos than he's charged for. So he gets caught for the copying thing. And they also find out via audit that he takes 90-minute lunch breaks. I don't know how you audit that. Unless he stamps in and out, I don't know.
That's more than 1 hour.
Yeah, but he's not developing.
It's not 1 hour. It's not 1 hour lunchtime. It's not called that.
This reminds me of a film called 1 Hour Lunchtime.
And he gives stuff away like the camera to the boy. I think Jake, his name is. So he gets dismissed, sacked, and it starts his kind of psychotic break, which is also made worse when he discovers Mr. Yorkin is having an affair, and that shatters his visualization of being a perfect family. So whilst he seems creepy, it seems like everything's okay because he's just obsessed with his perfect family. Like it's weird, but there's no like.
He doesn't want to harm them.
No.
In any way.
Exactly.
But that's just step one to wanting to harm them, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Watching them and stealing their photos and putting them on a mural wall that you have dedicated to their family.
Is that weird?
It's just step one to murdering them.
I would argue it's probably step 4 or 5.
No, step one.
Okay.
Everything else up to that is fine.
It's a slippery slope.
So the police get kind of wind of his behaviour and they're investigating him. And he follows Mr. York into a motel where he's doing the wild mamba with his mistress. And he holds them by knife point and makes them pose in sexual positions.
Oh, God,
while
yeah.
he takes
fucking hell.
And he takes photos. The police turn up and he runs away, but he gets apprehended and he says, I was just taking photos. In a creepy way.
Yeah. Just like the genie from Aladdin, yeah.
Cave of Wonders. That's not a genie. But under interrogation, it kind of turns out that he was abused and photos were taken of him as a child, and he didn't have a perfect family at all. Far from it. He was just an abused child. So, and then they look at the photos, and he doesn't take photos of them in sexual positions. He takes photos of objects in the hotel room.
Yeah.
So you kind of left feeling a little bit of sympathy for weird side of photo guy.
Still very creeped out by him, but you do feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah.
Especially because it's Robbie Williams. I'm loving that family instead. Because it's Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I liked it so much, because it was a
related
Robin
to
Williams film, and you expect it to be like goofy and stuff, and it just isn't. It's the total
Yeah.
opposite of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We watched it literally about a year ago.
Did you?
I think my wife had never seen it, so I was like, you have to see this film.
Did you like
and she was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because I built it up too much for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You can't show people anything.
No.
It always ends badly.
yeah. Oh, tell me about it, then. She was underwhelmed with the other thing that I showed her that day.
So my point is actually, yeah, it's creepy, but maybe get under the skin of the problem. She's obviously a troubled person, and so you either run away on holiday or tackle it head on. She might not kill you. She might just take your photo.
And put it on her wall of photos she's got of you.
Yeah.
And if she gets it developed within 1 hour, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. No, it's not these days.
Snappy snaps.
These days you can literally upload it to your computer straight
Oh,
away.
it's not the same. Though,
Can you?
It's
Is
not
there
the
like a
same.
website for an online creepy mural?
Yeah, printmycreepymural.com.
So I think the girl's having a bit of a problem. So maybe try and help her.
What's your problem? There's no use trying to pretend you haven't got one. The three of us are here to lend a friendly ear and help you out with all that strife that's lately marked your life. Why not divulge it? You never know, we may have tips that help you solve it. We know it's unlikely, but it's an impossibility if you don't share your problem.
Okay, on to problem 3. I think I've pissed my mate off by making a joke at the expense of his girlfriend. It wasn't a terribly funny joke, but she didn't mind, and if he'd ignored the whole thing, it would have been over and forgotten in a matter of seconds. But for some reason, it really bothered him, and he's been off of me ever since. Should I give him what he wants and apologise, and run the risk of making him feel like he was right for a strop, or just wait for it to blow over? Go to the Winchester.
Yeah, nice pint.
There's quite a famous example of this that we joked about in episode 1. Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
It's so uncalled for someone so cool.
Yeah.
I think that's
uncool,
that's a very extreme example, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, Chris Rock's joke, like this example, wasn't that funny, really. But Will Smith actually became the bad guy by acting that way, didn't he?
And that's all for this episode.
Will Smith, that's another enemy of the podcast.
Sting Will Smith. The list is getting bigger.
So is the person...
This person is Chris Rock. Yeah. So we call him Chris.
Yeah. Shall I kick us off with some advice?
Do it.
Are you aware of a TV show called Nevermind the Buzzcocks?
Yeah. You're going to talk about Preston.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I am, yeah. So in 2007, this is during the Simon Amstel hosting of Nevermind the Buzzcocks. Very famously, he offended Preston from the Ordinary Boys so much that he stormed off and didn't come back. Remember this? Did you watch it at the time?
Yep.
I remember thinking that it wasn't really something to be that offended about, but I can't remember exactly what you said.
So I implore you to watch it back, because it seems like at the time. So basically, what Simon Amstel does is he reads from his wife Chantel Hooton book, autobiography. Well, first off, he introduces Preston by saying Preston was worried the marriage would isolate hardcore Ordinary Boys fans, but luckily neither of them were in the country or existed. So he gets off to like it's going to be a Preston beating session from the off, and then he reads. So she was a Paris Hilton lookalike, if you remember.
Yeah.
He goes, the Paris Hilton work was a low point for me, Simon read tauntingly. It wasn't It wasn't what I wanted to be doing, and on top of that, it caused me some real problems with my hair. And then the other bit he read was Chantel felt posh and upmarket during a Daily Mail shoot, and that's when he marched off. So
you would be unhappy about it because they're insulting your wife.
I just feel, watch it back, it's like real low-hanging fruit as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, she's meant to be stupid and ditzy. Taking a piss is really easy to do.
Yeah.
And you're obviously baiting Preston as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I see it a little bit differently. I've always thought, until I did this research, that Preston's a dick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say.
Rule it out.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. Yeah, I wouldn't roll it out.
No, I wouldn't either, yeah.
But yes, he's probably justified. But at the same time, like, there's some kind of weighting in my mind against Preston because he would have known what kind of show it was. There was always someone that they took the piss out of on Nevermind the Buzzcocks. And if you're invited onto the show, you have to think, am I going to be that person? And if so, how am I going to react?
Yeah.
You have to...
Prep for it, yeah.
Yeah. Or you'd go, I don't want to be that person, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, that someone shouldn't have to be treated like that. So
I
used to really like Nevermind the Buzzcocks, but now whenever I see clips of it, I just find that whole humour just a bit annoying. You know, that whole like apathetic, incredibly dry,
done, isn't it?
Yeah.
But post this incident, Preston reflected on it in an interview to BBC, and he said, I'm struggling to think of why I would have acted so weird. Simon is a funny, charming and likeable person, which made walking off all the more embarrassing. So he's reflected poorly on it himself, and he probably thinks what you thought, like, I should have had it. I kind of should have prepared for that.
You got to wonder how much you didn't see though, because they wouldn't have aired the whole thing, would they?
Yeah, they would probably edited out some jokes and stuff.
And then he said, I wanted the floor to swallow up and eat me. So I did the next best thing and ran away, which is terrible because I'm not really that sort of person to walk away from confrontation. I'm normally the sort of person to talk it out. So I don't know whether he's saying what he thinks he should have done post thing, but what did Preston go on to do? Not a lot, really.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I thought that as well, because the Ordinary Boys split up. They had a reunion tour, but then he wrote songs. He's writing songs for Liam Payne, Ollie Murs, Cher. So he's active.
Cher. He wrote Believe.
He wrote Believe. Do you believe I stormed out of Buzzcocks?
So when you say he didn't go on to do much, you're underplaying it a little bit.
Yeah, he actually
went
did.
on to do loads.
He's kind of, whilst he's not like headlining a band, he's active and working, which is good. Simon Amstell, what the fuck has he done? He made a film called Carnage about vegans, and Benjamin, which made $100,000 at the box office. So really,
What budget was it?
it didn't say it.
Might have been a 90 grand budget. It's 10 grand profit.
So I think it might have been. You're right.
I don't know what people expected from the Ordinary Boys, though. I mean, the clue's in the name, isn't it?
I love you, you know that, don't you?
What's going on?
Carl's finally cracked.
I believe that was an Ordinary Boys song, no?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Was it?
That's what they used to intro Preston on the Buzzcocks episode. What's the point of this? I suppose it's you are the one that made the joke. You're Simon Amstell. Your mate is Preston. So how is this episode? It's all remembered. It doesn't matter what they went on to do. It's pretty much remembered as Preston being a dick. So maybe hold fast. Let him be the petulant little, because if the girlfriend didn't mind and it wasn't that funny, people would be like, why the hell are you pissed off about that? So it doesn't really matter what he thinks. It matters what kind of everyone else thinks, I suppose. So
Yeah, and maybe years later your friend will reflect on it in an interview with the BBC. Saying, I don't know why I was so pissed off. I'm usually the person to talk it out.
Yeah, I just wrote a song for Cher, by the way.
Do you believe?
So that's me.
Okay, so leave it. Just let it simmer. I don't think you should let it simmer. I read another book this year. I've read 2 whole books this year.
Are you okay?
My eyes hurt. One of them was Amsterdam by Ian McEwan, winner of the 1998 Booker Prize.
Very good at portraying Gandalf.
It starts at the funeral of Molly Lane. She was a woman who was full of life, worshipped by straight men everywhere, many of whom she ended up shagging. Nice.
Shagadelic, baby.
And 3 of her ex-lovers meet at this funeral. 2 of them, Vernon, editor of a slowly failing newspaper, and Clive, composer, he's writing the theme tune for the Millennium, which is a bit weird, are old friends, and they're brought together by the love of Molly. The other is Julian Garmany, current Foreign Secretary, who they despise and can't understand why she ever would have banged him. The implication being that he's a Tory. He doesn't say that, I don't think, but, he's right-wing and she was very liberal. So they're like, why would she ever have banged him? A while later, her widower, George, offers Vernon, the newspaper editor, something that might just save his paper. Pictures of Julian Garmany, the right-wing bloke, dressed in traditionally women's clothing. And I think some makeup as well. And since he's a hardline conservative, and this is the 90s, as far as I recall, it'll be huge as an exclusive, because, it'll be like, look at this guy. He's 1 minute he's being all right-wing, and the next he's cross-dressing. Oh my God.
Avant-garde.
Avant-garde. How avant-garde is that clothing?
I don't know what avant-garde means, do you?
But Clive, the composer, the old friend of Vernon, doesn't agree with publishing them. He says they were private photos of a private moment in Molly's life, and publishing them would disrespect her memory. How dare you think about publishing that just to use them to bring down this bloke and save your failing paper. Now, instead of talking it out, they basically get all tense and selfish, don't listen to each other. Neither of them takes a moment to think, and they escalate the argument massively. They start to go like tit for tat in an ever-escalating feud. I think I won't go into detail because I'll let you read it. And now I'm going to do a big spoiler, so hit
Hit
whatever.
30 minus 15.
Hit whatever button you want to skip this
hit
if
stop.
you want to.
Can have a cup of tea.
If you want to skip this, the feud escalates until they kill each other.
Oh, book done.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you don't want to let this escalate. This is your friend.
I know you don't want to go into detail, but how do you kill each other? Like,
It's a bit odd, really. Like,
you both stab each other at the same
Basically,
time.
They have a duel.
we're committed to doing the spoiler now, aren't we? Because people aren't going to be able to skip this cleanly. But they've already skipped it, and then we go, how do they kill each other? One of them goes to the other one and says, like, when they're in a softer moment, when they're not fighting, he says, I've been thinking about our friend who died. I don't want it to get to a point where I'm so ill and old that I just want to be dead. So I want you to take me to Switzerland and have me bumped off by Dignitas if I get that far. So he says, oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, no, I'll do that for you. And then it's all very convoluted, and I can't believe it won the Booker Prize because it's like, this is so silly. It ends up there's a convention in Switzerland or something, and they both arrange to have the cocktail fed to the other person, the drug cocktail that kills you. Right. And they pour it into each other's drinks without them knowing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like fucking stupid. But anyway. Yeah, so my point is,
Have you got one?
you don't want the argument to escalate. These two started as friends, and they ended up in that position.
Fish are friends, not food.
It might seem like you're giving in to ridiculous demands, but I think it's worth swallowing your pride and apologising, even if you do it insincerely, even if you don't mean it. I mean, I don't think in society enough use is made of the insincere apology.
It's true.
Gary Barlow was a master of it. Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it.
Whatever.
Yeah. I think we should.
I just want you back, all right?
Yeah, we should do it more, just so that other people forgive us.
It's true.
Do you have to be openly insincere, or can you just...
No, you make them
apologise
feel
and-
like
yeah.
you're being really sincere, but inside your head, you're thinking, you mug.
I just can't help thinking, like, just because Will Smith reacted the way he did, and everyone agreed that that was a terrible way to react, it doesn't mean that Chris Rock was right to make the joke he made about God, I've forgotten her name. Jada
Pinkett Smith.
Jada Pinkett Smith. And he made, as you said, a bad joke. Not even a funny joke. What's the point of making that joke? Like, what was he... Was he hoping for more laughs? Presumably he was.
But what is the best way to suppress a bad joke? Ignore it, surely. Not punch the person in the face.
Yeah, no. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, the fact that he did that doesn't take away from the fact that he made that joke in the first place, and it was a bit insensitive. It was in bad taste. You wouldn't recommend people go around making jokes like that.
No, but I don't think they should be punched in the face for it.
No, absolutely not. But that's neither here nor there. Like, I'm not saying.
I mean, it wasn't a punch; it was a slap. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm not saying go around slapping people in the face.
Well, it sounds like you are. Then.
No, I'm not.
I agree, Liam. We should go around slapping people in the face.
I'm saying you should.
Episode over. That's all we got time for today.
I'm saying you should reflect on what you did and, have a real conversation with yourself and think, should I have made that joke in the first place? Should I rethink the type of jokes I'm making? Because it's one thing to make a joke that's really funny, that is at someone's expense, but everyone can laugh at it and, they might not be that bothered. It's another thing to make a shit joke at someone's expense and no one laughs at it, and then it's just like you're being a dickhead, doesn't it? So I was thinking about songs in which people have apologised or asked for forgiveness. And there's quite a few. I think we spoke about a few before.
Hard for me to say I'm sorry.
Seems to be the hardest word.
Shut up and drive.
I landed on an absolute blast from the past. Do either of you remember?
Akon, sorry, blame it on me.
Further past.
I am the ghost of further past.
Do either of you remember a certain album from 1998 by a Mr. David Gray?
Cannons. Is that what the album was called? Cannonball.
You're thinking of
No.
Damien Rice.
Yeah, oh.
So I guess the answer's no.
They're not,
Spice, Coldplay.
are they not the same people? Damien Rice, David Gray.
David Gray. But David Gray is a bit of an underappreciated chap, I think. He was the... What's the word?
I think he's appreciated the exact right amount.
I was going to say, and state it as a fact, that David Gray paved the way for singer-songwriters like Ed Sheeran and others of a similar ilk.
But it
turns out
Ed Sheeran came before David Gray.
No, it turns out the person who said that was David Gray.
I'm a pioneer, actually.
So maybe take that with a pinch of salt or a bag of salt. Anyway, White Ladder is the album I was talking about, released in 1998.
Oh yeah, White Ladder up to the cannons.
It was
When you climb up to cannonballs.
It was his fourth studio album, and the first track on it was a song called Please Forgive Me, which was also released as a single in 1999. Do you know this song?
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me, let me go.
Yeah, that's what I was...
'Cause I don't love you anymore. No?
No, it's not that one. I haven't listened to this for ages, and so I did this week, and I didn't remember, but it is a beautiful song. I really like it.
Sing it, Liam.
All right then. In the song, David implores the subject. Why'd you ask if you don't want me to?
I do, but you didn't. You started talking.
He says, please forgive me if I act a little strange. I'm not going to do the rest.
No, I don't remember that.
For I know not what I do. It feels like lightning running through my veins every time I look at you.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be every time I do a poo.
Probably is when you sing it.
In my bomb.
No, but I just think how lovely is that? I find it so relatable. Like it's an open admittance of, yeah, I can probably come across as a bit of a weirdo sometimes, but please forgive that, because it's just because I'm nervous and I don't know how to act sometimes, and you're amazing. And I thought to myself, is this really relevant? Maybe it is.
And then I thought, no.
But I thought maybe it is, because maybe you can take this approach
Too
with your
deep
friends.
into prep at this point, aren't you?
I've spent 2 hours researching this song, this 3-minute song.
You could be, you could take this approach with your friend. You could be open and honest. You could say, look, I thought I was being charming and funny, but obviously it backfired. It weren't that funny, and I'm sorry. And if they don't like that, you could pretend, like David Gray, that you...
or a pioneer of apologising. Look, everyone who's apologised got it off me.
You paved the way for other people's shit jokes.
You float like a
I
cannonball.
was going to say, you can pretend that the reason that you are awkward is because, really, every time you look at them, lightning runs through your veins and you love them. And that will probably freak them out enough to stop them being worried about it.
I insulted your girlfriend because I hate her because she's got you and I want you.
Exactly. And that's my short and sweet advice.
I reckon...
It wasn't that short in the end. We made it long for you.
You reckon lightning in your veins really hurts?
Yeah.
On that note, thank you, Liam. Thank you, David Gray, for Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. Thank you for bringing us Ed Sheeran and Daniel Bedingfield.
Right, brilliant. Good job, guys. So let's talk about favourite art of the day.
Do you even need to be told, Karl? Fungus book.
Yeah, Mushroom Madness.
Mushroom Mountains.
Is that really art?
Entangled Life by Merlin Sheldrake.
I'm going to read that.
If you don't read it, you will die.
After you lie.
Okay, Mushroom Madness from Aaron, Liam, David Gray.
Yeah, David Gray, White Ladder. Listen to that.
Oh, are you joking?
Do you hate David Gray?
It's just naughty's tosh, isn't it?
No, it's
Naughty's
not.
tosh.
It's 90s,
90s cock.
and it's not tosh. It's the quintessential British singer-songwriter, David Gray.
First songwriter to ever write a song.
1 hour photo just to see Robbie Williams do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
You can be underwhelmed like Aaron's wife. That's all we've got time for today. Check the episode notes or agonyartpodcast.com to find links to all the media we've mentioned today. If you have a problem you'd like us to attempt to solve, you can reach us on our group Instagram and Twitter accounts at Agony Art Podcast or on the submission page of our website. I'd like to thank our resident Agony Aunts for their contributions. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Aaron. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week to muddle through more problems and with more entertainment, I promise, for you to check out.
I don't think you can make that promise.
Promise. I promise next week will be entertaining. I promise.
Yeah, see you then.
Bye.
But I'd suggest keep it light, 'cause their advice can be shite, and they won't be held liable. Oh no, not at all, not here at Agony.